Donald Trump contradicts himself so many times that it's difficult to ascertain whether or not even he believes the words that are coming out of his own mouth. Now, we have a recent example when he said that Obama founded ISIS, and then he clarified and said, no, I literally meant he founded ISIS. And then a few days later, after doubling down and tripling down, he said, I was just being sarcastic. Don't you people get sarcasm? So you never know what the hell to believe with Donald Trump. Typically, you shouldn't believe anything that comes out of his mouth, but User Plain Sight compiled a bunch of clips showing just how much Donald Trump really does contradict himself. So we'll watch that and then come back and discuss it.
I'm the only one on the stage that said we should not go into Iraq.
Are you for invading Iraq?
Yeah, I guess so. You know, I wish it was. I wish the first time it was done correctly.
I'm very pro-life.
I'm very pro-choice.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no, as a principle?
There has to be some form of punishment. I am pro-choice in every respect.
She has no natural talent to be president.
She's very talented, and she has a husband that I also like very much.
Hillary Clinton was the worst Secretary of State in the history of the United States.
Hillary Clinton, how did she do as Secretary of State? Probably above and beyond everybody else. Let's say Hillary is president.
Hillary Clinton, I think, is a terrific woman. I think she really works hard, and I think she does a good job, and I like her. I will build the wall, and Mexico's going to pay for it, and they'll be happy to pay for it.
I'm not going to pay for that fucking wall.
This guy used a filthy, disgusting word on television, and he should be ashamed of himself, and he should apologize, okay?
Listen, you motherfuckers, we'll tax you 25%.
I'm gonna bomb the shit out of them. We'll beat the shit out of them.
Political bullshit.
You're not gonna raise that fucking price, you understand?
Donald, true or false, you've said the government should pay for everyone's health care.
That's false.
You've never said that.
Everybody's got to be covered.
Universal health care.
I am going to take care of everybody.
Who pays for it?
The government's going to pay for it, but we're going to save so much money on the other side.
He said I was in favor of Libya. I never discussed that subject. I was in favor of Libya. We would be so much better off if Gaddafi were in charge right now. Gaddafi in Libya is killing thousands of people. We should go in, we should stop this guy, which would be very easy and very quick. Stop him from doing it and save these lives. They're here illegally, you take them, they have to go back.
We have to show some compassion.
You're right,
we just can't throw everybody out.
They have
So
to
you're going to
come
split up
illegally.
families.
Chuck,
You're going to deport children.
Chuck, no, we're going to keep the families together. We have to keep the families together.
But you're going to keep
But
them
they have
together
to
out.
go. But they have to go.
How do you throw somebody out that's lived in this country for 20 years?
North Korea has nukes. Japan has a problem with that. I mean, they have a big problem with it. Maybe they would, in fact, be better off if they defend themselves from North Korea. Maybe we would be better off, including with nukes. Yes, including with nukes.
They said, I want Japan to nuke. I want Japan to get nuclear weapons. Give me a break.
But if you say to Japan, yes, it's fine, you get nuclear weapons, South Korea, you as well, and Saudi Arabia says we want them too.
Can I be honest with you? It's going to happen anyway. So it's only a question of time.
I'm a conservative person.
The Republicans are just too crazy right. I mean, just what's going on is just nuts.
Bush says, I do not believe he's a true conservative. These people are stupid.
Do you identify more as a Democrat or a Republican?
In many cases, I probably identify more as a Democrat. The economy does better under the Democrats than the Republicans.
I don't know anything about David Duke, okay? I don't know anything about what you're even talking about with white supremacy or white supremacists.
What do you see as the biggest problem with the Reform Party right now?
Well, you've got David Duke just joined, a bigot, a racist, a problem. I mean, this is not exactly the people you want in your party.
Wages too high. We're not going to be able to compete against the world. I hate to say it, but we have to leave it the way it is. I don't know how people make it on $7.25 an hour. I would like to see an increase of some magnitude.
Do you believe voters have a right to see your tax returns before they make a final decision?
I don't think they do.
If I decide to run for office, I'll produce my tax returns, absolutely.
There have been many presidents that have not shown their tax returns.
Actually, every single nominee since 1976 has released their tax
returns. But before
returns.
1976...
nobody was worse to women or abused women more than Bill Clinton.
Look at the trouble Bill Clinton got into with something that was totally unimportant.
She's married to a man who got impeached.
They tried to impeach him, which was nonsense.
He was impeached for lying.
Honesty, Carter once said, "I'll never lie to you." Would you say that, the American people?
I would never lie.
When I'm president, I'm a different person. I can do anything. I can be the most politically correct person that you've ever seen. I can be the most politically correct person in the world. And I can be the opposite.
The president has to be a great leader, and you have to lead by example.
I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? Like to punch him in the face.
I'd look her right in that fat, ugly face of hers.
Blood coming out of her wherever.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I don't know what I said. This guy will say anything.
As far as the truth goes, we've got people in positions of power who I know for a fact are liars. Liars. I don't believe any one of them, not one. I believe Donald.
Now, in case you weren't counting, that was 14 different issues or topics that he contradicted himself on. And when it gets to the outrage that he talked about with Vincent Fox, he said, "I'm not going to build that fucking wall." And Donald Trump, you know, he's just so outraged. He cussed. How could you say that? How could you say such a terrible word? You should apologize. Now, this is coming from the king of the anti-PC police crusaders. He's triggered by a curse word. Give me a break. And of course, Donald Trump curses. All adults curse. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't necessarily curse too much on this podcast just because many people tell me that they like to listen to it at work. So I try to make my reach as big as possible. But, I mean, if we're adults, there's no big deal when it comes to cursing. So he's just doing that because he didn't like what Vincent Fox had to say. But to act as though, you know, he was just so outraged and triggered by the curse word, it's ridiculous. So that kind of stood out to me. So I like this because this is akin to the video of Hillary Clinton lying for 13 minutes straight. When you have two candidates that are incredibly dishonest, like Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, you actually have to compile these clips. And, you know, they're pissed that the internet exists probably because without it, we wouldn't even know whether or not they're lying or telling the truth half the time, but we can look back in history and see you saying the things that you say you didn't say. So I love this. Now the question is, what will the response be from Donald Trump supporters? Well, inevitably, they're going to say that, you know, in many of these clips, he was taken out of context. And no matter what Donald Trump says, if it's something that they don't like, then they say that he was taken out of context. For example, Donald Trump literally said wages in America are too high, and I did a video covering it, and they said, you're taking him completely out of context. He didn't mean that the wages are too high. Really? So when he says that the wages are too high, he doesn't mean that the wages are too high? How about this? I'll take his word for it. And if I'm taking him out of context or I am not catching what he's saying or I'm interpreting it wrong, maybe he should be more fucking articulate when he speaks. So honestly, the mental gymnastics that come out of Donald Trump's supporters, it borders on delusional. Because if you have someone saying stupid things over and over and over and over and over, not only does it, you know, diminish the political debate between him and Hillary Clinton, because we're focusing on these idiotic things he keeps saying, but I mean, it's so obnoxious because no matter what Donald Trump says, there's always an explanation for it. There's always someone taking him out of context, allegedly. But maybe it's time you just admit that if someone is taken out of context so much, maybe he shouldn't be a world leader. Because what is he going to say in office? Is he going to talk shit about Vladimir Putin and then say, no, he took me out of context? You can't do that, you know? You can't go back on your word if you are the leader of the country. So how are you going to rectify this if he does this while he's in office? Isn't that a sign that your candidate is flawed? Of course not. He's perfect. Nothing he can ever say or do is bad. So, you know, I love this video. I'm very thankful that User Plainsight put this together. Shout out to him. I put a link in the description box to his channel. Please check it out and subscribe to him for putting this together.